actually quite delighted to be here because this is my first time in Coimbatore. As you've heard, I've got roots in India. My grandparents, who sadly I never met, my grandmother was from Chennai and my grandfather was from Pondicherry. So I think, they say blood is thicker than water. I mean, I have this strong connection in India. And the moment I landed in Chennai, I don't know, it was like the ground kind of not swallowed me, but it lifted me up. And it's been an extraordinary, 5 times I've been in India now. Now I'm very, very fortunate. I've made a lot of friends in Sydney and in India. My dear friend Irfan Malik has been a huge influence in what I see, what I taste, and where I am in India. Look, I want to actually share something with you. The thing about it is, people don't understand why I love India so much. I mean, apart from that, I've got relations here. I mean, I've got heritage here. I think the thing is, people wonder, they always ask me, Audra, is it the food? Is it the people? Is it the place, the heritage, the history? And I've got to say, it's actually the people that are so proud of their heritage and their lineage, so proud of what their grandmothers cook in the kitchen, and they share it with me. They share with me their stories. And I think that's one of the things that have always kind of made my time in India so, so wonderful. I think also, here's the other thing, and these things all they will make sense as I speak a little bit further. By the way, I have to condense 13 years of my life in 15 minutes, so I'll do my best. I think it's also the fact that I come with an open mind and an open heart, ready to receive everything that people actually share with me. And also, something else to consider, is it also because I attract like-minded people who think like me, people who love food, people who love cooking. Any chance I get into the kitchen, I do, right? So ladies and gentlemen, my name is Audra Morrice. I'm a chef. By the way, I'm not classically trained. I'm not classically trained French. I was trained in my mother's kitchen like many of our cooks here. I am an author of 2 cookbooks. I am a judge on MasterChef Asia and now Singapore for the last 5 seasons. I also absolutely love the fact that now I can add to my CV. I'm an executive producer of a television series, my own, called Eat, Roam, Relish. And this will have a lot of relevance to India shortly. I am also an advisory board member for the ASEAN Australia Centre. Now, this is an important piece because it talks about it, and I will highlight this. What the center does is actually focuses on the deepening of cultural literacy, and what we mean by that is understanding different cultures in the region. And I'm incredibly proud of it. I'm also the International Culinary Ambassador for Avocados Australia, and I do a lot of work for Australian pork. So as you can tell, I support Australian produce like nothing else. And when you're a chef and you cook for a living, you rely a lot on good produce, and that's where I am. Now, what ties all of this together? You might think, gee, Audra does a lot of stuff. What ties all of this? It's my vision. And my vision from when I started to cook after finishing MasterChef Australia. By the way, I spent almost 20 years in corporate telecommunications, and that taught me a lot, got me quite prepared for this last sort of 13 years of my life. Everything that I do, everything that I've done from the start revolves around a bunch of words, and these are very important words in my life. So it's culture, it's community, it's people, and it's cuisine. That's my middle name. I'm a cuisine person. I cook. So when I first started cooking, when I first started my career in this business, and also I changed my career when I hit 40, so anything can happen at any time. All I wanted to do was cook delicious food for people. I just wanted to kind of fill their tummies, but not only that, I wanted them to understand the food that they were eating. So much of us, we think food is just to fill an empty stomach. I'm hungry, I need to eat, right? But cuisine is such a powerful tool, and I felt, like in Australia, I felt like there was a gap in the market, right? Asian food was this cluster under this big umbrella. Thai food was very popular. Vietnamese food was starting to get popular. And Indian cuisine, absolutely known. Apparently, everybody knows about Indian food. However, the menus revolved around North Indian Punjabi cuisine. And in Australia, I think it has a strong correlation to the fact that there were a lot of Punjabi immigrants that came through, and that naturally transcends itself to lots of North Indian cuisine. So what did I want to do? I wanted to tell the Australian community, I wanted to share with them what Singaporean cuisine was. It's not just chili crab and laksa, and it's also Singapore is not just about Orchard Road. I've also got Malaysian roots, so Malaysia and Singapore are quite different. Malay cuisine doesn't just happen in Malaysia, it happens in Singapore as well. So I wanted to share all of that with them. So here's the thing, today I'm talking about what helped me with my brand, right? Vision is really important. It is key. It's what makes you who you are, what you believe in, and what makes you stand out, what makes you unique. It's the basis of every single business that you create, whether you're in food or not. And this is the only slide you're going to see today, ladies and gentlemen, because this is my brand. It's me. I am the brand. So what I also want to share is the pathway. My pathway at the time when I first started was very simple. I just had to put delicious food on the table. But every time I put delicious food on the table, I would make sure that people understood what they were eating, the culture behind it, whether it was a Malay dish, whether it was a Peranakan dish, which is a really lovely blend of Malay and Chinese. But I also want them to go away wanting more and to clearly understand. Because again, the tool of food is a very powerful one in leveling the place, you know. People come together at a dinner table, they enjoy the food, so many conversations come out of it, and that's what I thoroughly enjoyed. So, what was my key, essential thing? The only job I had to do was to make people happy, but I wanted to make people consistently happy. I wanted to make sure that every time I cooked, it was consistently good. That led to people telling other people about me. And so in the past 13 years, I've never once paid. I don't have a marketing budget, people. I have no marketing budget. Or rather, I haven't allocated it. My marketing budget is my consistency and the joy that I bring to every feast that I cook for. So before long, corporates were inviting me to speak, to curate menus, but I also always insisted, if you want me to create a menu for your event, I need to talk about the cuisine, I need to talk about the food, I need to talk about where this all came from, right? And so I found that that gap was a very precious one for me because it allowed me to be that bridge between the East and the West because I speak both languages. I understand the Asian sensibilities. With every part of Asia, I don't know, I'm kind of connected in many ways. I mean, in my family, we've got the whole United Nations covered, so it's brilliant, you know, and it's something that is inside of me that comes out very easily. I'm also a very relatable person, right? So the path I took was not a straight one. I mean, a lot of people ask me, Audra, what are you going to do in 5 years? What's your business looking like in 5 years? I'm like, don't ask me that. I have no idea. Because here's the thing, my vision has never changed up until today. For me, it was all about food, cuisine, culture, people, and community. That has never changed, and that will be the center of absolutely everything that I do. However, the path there, I'm a little bit more flexible. Because here's the thing, if you have your goals, wonderful to have a goal, and if you have a tunnel vision path from A to B, what you find is you lose all these really cool and funky, wonderful things that happen along the way that can really enrich your brand, that can take you in so many different directions, but still holding on to that very strong vision, right? So here comes the next piece. How did I go global? Again, I looked at myself and I went, what are the assets that are unique to me? So I felt like, you know, I have lived in Australia for many years. I'm originally from Singapore. I've still got really strong roots in Singapore. I've got strong roots in Malaysia, and I'm now developing really good connections in India because of that one part of my heritage that I thought was really missing growing up, my Indian heritage. So that became quite an attractive proposition in the global market. And so there started my brand activity started to kind of go across borders, right? So people started to recognize me as this personality that was really good at promoting cultures. And I started to consult for companies. I started to consult for restaurants, resorts in the eastern coast of Malaysia. I started to work for tourism boards as in consult for them. And I also gave a lot of talks to culinary students. I have a real issue with the culinary agenda or the culinary syllabus in the world because it's very much skewed in the Western methodologies, Western cuisine. Methodologies is one thing, but cuisine is something else, right? And so whenever I give talks, I'm a bit of a rebel. I'll say to the students, I never present my syllabus before I speak, by the way, but I'll say to the students, you're from India. Say you're from Kerala, right? And if you've got and you're going to culinary school and you're kind of fine-tuning your Western methodologies and all those Western recipes and ideas, but what if you dig deep and really understand your culture and really hone in on those wonderful dishes that Kerala is so famous for? Learn from your grandmother as well, or your grandfather, or whoever the cook in the family is. And if you master both, can you imagine if you combine them together? That's where magic happens, right? So those are the type of conversations I have with students, and some of them like it. Actually, most of them like it. The teachers might not like it so much. But for me, it was cross-cultural exchange. It was blending of cultures. It was really understanding cultures. I also consulted for the Fullerton. I love consulting because someone gives me a problem and I solve it. But I solve it through food and I solve it through culture. So I would train their chefs, get them to understand what Singaporean cuisine was really about, get them to master it. I was in the kitchen every day, cooking up spice paste so that they would understand where do we cook this to until it gets to a point. So again, a lot of that is cultural education. And these are not Asian chefs either. So they don't even have the basic sensibilities of what Southeast Asian cooking is about. We would sort of realign operational processes, but largely it's not just the chefs, it's all the service staff to get them to understand what Asian culture is all about, you know. So next up, the TV world. Now, I never really wanted to be this famous TV person because I always think, you know, be careful what you wish for. You might not be able to step out your own front door, right? And for me, television was a crucial piece because I'd started it off with MasterChef Australia, and that brought a lot of exposure. But TV to me was a marketing ploy. It was purely for marketing purposes because it's an easy way, whether it's television or streaming, it's an easy way to reach millions of viewers. So that to me was the important bit. And then I want to just touch on brand glow. So brand glow is something that is very important. Now, I don't think for the rest of my life I'm going to be able to disconnect my association with MasterChef. And I love that because it started my career in this industry. Brand glow is basically relying on a brand that is possibly more successful in many ways than you are and associating yourself with it. Because by doing that, you also get that glow, that kind of glow from the brand, and you will benefit from it. So from MasterChef Australia to MasterChef Singapore, to MasterChef Asia, and then to Singapore, I mean, it's been phenomenal, and people still call me the MasterChef as they did before. I don't mind. I'm happy to take that one. Now, the next chapter of my life. In 2021, I was invited to be the Sustainable Gastronomic Tourism Ambassador for PATA, which is a not-for-profit organization so it's Pacific Asia Travel Association. And it brought together people from academia, from government, and from hospitality businesses to share challenges, to share successes, whatever it was. So I was talking quite extensively around Asia and around the Middle East. and really sharing, promoting one thing only. And my thing was, how do we make food tourism a thing? How do we grow it? Because people were starting to really enjoy dining and eating out and traveling. People travel for food. I mean, how many of you guys follow food influencers? Plenty, right? Yeah, there you go. You want to know where to go in Dubai? And you just follow someone that is, is promoting it. Exactly. So, but here's the thing. I wanted to ensure, so the topics I spoke about was food tourism. But not just that, it's also the ecosystem within which it was operating within, but sustainably. How do we keep it going? People kind of use the word sustainable, and it's a tricky one because it's not what you necessarily think it is. It could be where it stemmed from. How do we create this cycle that is self-serving, right? So I asked the question, what makes a country unique? Anybody? What makes a country unique? I'm going to point fingers soon. The culture. And what is the best way to experience the culture? There you go, right? Food and culture. Those two are my middle names. So I embarked on this journey to encourage people to travel responsibly. And what does that mean? So we give back as much as we take. We connect with the people. A big part of life and travel and cross-cultural activities is to connect with the local people. We don't just go there, take their services, and we leave, right? We engage, we connect with people, and we learn. When we come back, we talk about it for hours and hours and hours to our friends, and then they go and have their journey. So this is a beautiful cycle that we want to create, right? So the result, what was the result of all of this? I didn't mention before, through the speaking, I ended up I got engaged by the Sarawak Tourism Board to actually create a solution for them. They came to me and they said, Audra, our glass is half full of domestic travelers. How do we fill the glass with international travelers? So I get asked that a lot. So I created my baby, which is Eat, Roam, Relish. Sarawak, Malaysia is the first series. And what it is a 6-part television series that's now, thankfully, gratefully airing right across Australia on free-to-air. It's also on Asian Food Network, a Warner Brothers division, right across Asia. It's in the Middle East. It's in Europe. I'm really delighted and really happy. So today my work spans borders, screens, cultures, communities, but the foundation of it hasn't changed. And to better articulate my vision, I started with this desire to cook for people, to make people happy, and also to understand what culture is. And today, I find myself in India, very excited about discovering my heritage, and hopefully Eat, Roam, Relish will have a second series here in India. So I'm just going to summarize really quickly. I'm hoping that you will learn something from how I developed my brand. Starting small and local, wonderful. It's a really great way to learn, and I think a few of the speakers yesterday mentioned this. You make mistakes, the repercussions are not too huge, so you can master your skills, kind of hone in your brand, make it really good. Be authentic, guys. You don't have to be, people say you don't have to be everything to everyone. Be something to someone. That is meaningful. Now, you're going to have a lot of doors closed on you, but that's okay. You've got time, and you've got to build a skin so thick because many doors will be closed on you. But you don't also have to have all the answers. Be flexible. Someone mentioned it yesterday as well. Have the flexibility of mind to actually change, to alter your pathway. Keep your vision intact, but alter the pathway so that you can adapt, right? But I also want to say, network. Build relationships. But don't necessarily expect something to come of it straight away, because good things take time, right? And don't worry about being the underdogs. I think underdogs are fabulous. They come with humility and they come with extreme hunger. And be true to your ethos and play the long game. Nothing happens overnight, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if your products or services align with my ethos and you want to speak to me, you know where to find me. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.